Hi dear Diamonds, and welcome to this exclusive webinar on adaptive capsules and our upcoming launch in Europe. I'm Ludo, Product Education Manager for Europe, and I'm thrilled you're here. Today we are joined by our VIP guest, Dr. Scott Johnson, Director of Research Substantiation. One of the most prolific natural health authors of the 21st century, Scott has written over 25 evidence-based books and is renowned for translating complex topics in essential oils and dietary supplements into clear, practical insight. He's also an internationally acclaimed speaker, clinician, and podcaster. A quick note, this is privileged, unplugged education for Diamond Plus only, so please keep it internal. Also, please note that the recording will only be available for 2 weeks, so make sure to catch it before it expires. That's it from me. Scott, over to you, and everyone enjoy this session. Welcome everyone to this webinar. I'm so happy to have you, Scott, with us today. Thank you so much for joining. I'm particularly excited about this product because I don't know if I shared this with you when we first chat, but it's been a long time in the making, and our diamond leaders have been waiting for this product for a very, very long time. So the fact that we have it in Europe is a big deal. And I couldn't be more excited to have you explain the science behind this fabulous product. So yes, over to you, Scott, and thanks again.
You bet. Thank you. I'm excited for your market to get it as well, because I think that this is a product that has such wide application for so many people to use it and get benefits. So good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Just real briefly and quickly about me, my name's Dr. Scott Johnson. I'm an author and podcaster, and my doctorate is in naturopathy, and I'm also a certified clinical master aromatherapist. So a lot of my career I have spent dedicated to studying essential oils and how they work within the body and their ability to help support our overall well-being. And so I get excited when I get to talk about products that have essential oils in them, but also unite botanicals, because when you put those two things together, you generally get a more complete response and better results. So let's start with a simple truth. Stress is no longer the exception. It's actually the norm in society. In today's fast-paced world, most of us are constantly navigating a whirlwind of responsibilities, information, and emotional triggers. Whether it's demands of work, financial pressure, the flood of notifications on our devices, or personal challenges, modern life places a heavy burden on our mental and emotional well-being. According to recent surveys, over 75% of adults report experiencing moderate to high levels of stress on a regular basis. When we dial into Europeans, 1 in 3 Europeans report feeling stressed most of the time. And long-term stress doesn't just leave us feeling overwhelmed, it can impact our sleep, relationships, focus, and even our long-term well-being. And of course, it can increase our risk of poor immune function, digestive disturbances, hormone imbalances, poor cognition, and reduced mental well-being. Emotional reactivity, burnout, and fatigue have become common themes in our daily lives because of everything that's going on. Now more than ever, people are searching for natural, holistic ways to develop greater emotional strength and resilience. That's why today I'm excited to explore a science-informed natural supplement that is specifically designed to help the body adapt to stress and promote emotional resilience. Combined with a healthy lifestyle, adaptive capsules are designed to help us navigate the modern world with grace and strength. First, it's important that we discuss the fascinating connection between the gut and the brain, which is called the gut-brain axis. Your gut and your brain are in constant communication, like two best friends that are texting all day long. What's happening in your gut can directly affect how you feel emotionally and vice versa. You've probably experienced this connection without even realizing it. Have you ever felt butterflies in your stomach before a big meeting? Or maybe you've had a gut feeling about a decision. That's the gut brain axis in action. Here's what's really happening and really interesting. About 90% of your body's serotonin, one of the main feel good neurochemicals, is actually produced in your gut, not in your brain. So when your digestive system is off balance, it can affect your mood, your stress levels, and even how well you sleep. On the flip side, prolonged stress can disrupt your gut health, causing discomfort, inflammation, and throwing off the natural balance of bacteria that help you stay well. So it's a two-way street because stress affects the gut and the gut affects how we respond to stress. This is why supporting gut health is so important when we talk about emotional well being and resilience. A healthy gut can help promote a healthier response to stress, clearer thinking, and a more stable mood. Next slide. Now that we've talked about the gut brain connection, let's zoom in a little bit deeper into the gut microbiome. Your microbiome is made up of trillions of tiny microorganisms living in your digestive tract. These little guys may be small, but they have a huge impact on how we feel, both physically and emotionally. When your gut microbiome is healthy and balanced, it helps regulate digestion, support immunity, and here's the big one: influence mood and stress levels. Certain beneficial bacteria in the gut can help produce and regulate neurotransmitters like GABA, serotonin, and dopamine, the chemicals that play a key role in how calm, focused, or nervous we feel. But when the microbiome gets out of balance because of stress, poor diet, lack of sleep, or various other reasons, it can throw off this delicate system. That can lead to feeling more anxious,
Mhm.
emotionally reactive, or just off. And here's where sleep comes in. Your gut microbiome helps regulate your sleep wake cycle, also known as your circadian rhythm. A balanced gut can promote better quality sleep, and better sleep in turn helps you handle stress far more effectively.
Mhm.
But it's a vicious cycle. If things aren't right, stress can damage the microbiome, and a disrupted microbiome can make it harder for you to sleep restfully. And poor sleep makes you more sensitive to stress. This is why nurturing a healthy microbiome can be one of the most effective ways to support long term emotional wellness and stress resilience. Next slide. Adaptive capsules combine botanical extracts with essential oils for a unique combination and synergistic activity. One of the ingredients in this formula is ahi flower oil, a rich plant based source of omega fatty acids. What makes ahi flower oil unique is that it delivers a rare combination of omega 3, 6, and 9 fatty acids in a highly bioavailable form. The two primary fatty acids it contains are stearidonic acid and alpha linolenic acid. At a clinically studied dose, ahi flower has been shown to support a healthy inflammatory response and promote a calm mood, emotional balance, and stress resilience when it's used daily. A randomized clinical trial looked at its effects on fatty acid levels in humans. This study found that ahi flower meaningfully increases EPA in both plasma and inside the cells. This is important because EPA plays a crucial role in maintaining cell membrane health and facilitating communication between brain cells. It can also influence the function of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine that are important for mood regulation. The stearidonic acid effectively converts to EPA. In fact, the research shows us that ahi flour raises EPA levels more effectively than consuming flaxseed.
Oh,
A
wow.
preclinical model found that ahi flour ingestion supported the gut microbiome balance. So, if you go back to what we just said about the connection between the gut and the brain and the microbiome and stress resilience and mood, ahi flour may help support a healthy gut microbiome and, in turn, emotional and stress resilience. Ahi flour is a foundational part of our stress support strategy, helping the body stay balanced even in the face of modern challenges. It supports both brain function and emotional resilience. Next slide. GABA stands for gamma aminobutyric acid, and it's one of the brain's most important calming neurotransmitters. It's kind of like your brain's brake pedal. When stress, stimulation, or emotional overload starts to ramp things up, GABA steps in to slow the system down, helping to quiet mental chatter, ease tension, and support emotional balance. Beyond your body producing its own GABA, you can also supplement with it. Adaptive capsules contain 100 milligrams of GABA, which may promote a feeling of calm without the grogginess and encourage more stable emotional responses to stress, ease occasional feelings of nervousness or mental tension, and even contribute to better rest and sleep quality. One randomized clinical trial reported that taking 100 milligrams of GABA in a supplement form helped to alleviate self perceived stress that was induced by a difficult tasking mental task. Monitoring of brainwave activity during this study also showed that those in the group that received the GABA experienced decreased alpha and beta band brainwave activity, which suggests that they were in a more relaxed state. In the end, GABA promotes feelings of calm, relaxation, and mental clarity. Next slide. Saffron isn't just a prized spice. It's also one of the most studied botanicals for mood support, and emerging evidence suggests that it supports that gut-brain axis that we talked about earlier. One of the keys to this extract is making sure it has sufficient levels of active compounds like crocins. That is why the extract used in adaptive capsules is standardized to provide 3% crocins, which are credited for saffron's benefits on mood, emotional balance, and stress resilience. Saffron and its active compounds, crocins and safranal, help support healthy levels of serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine in the brain, which are all key mood regulating neurochemicals. It does this by inhibiting their reuptake, meaning that there are more of these important neurochemicals available in the brain in a gentle and natural way. Interestingly, emerging research shows that saffron may also influence the gut brain axis by maintaining a healthy inflammatory response in the gut and shifting the gut microbiome to a more healthy balance. This gives saffron a dual action of supporting both normal brain chemistry and gut health. Clinical research shows that taking saffron reduces stress and nervousness as determined by delayed times to higher cortisol levels. So saffron can impact your gut health, brain chemistry, and even sleep quality. So you are more resilient and adaptive in your life. Next slide. Lavender has been studied dozens of times for its effects on stress and mood. Much of this research focuses on the consumption of 80 milligrams of lavender essential oil, or roughly 2 drops. That is why lavender is the key essential oil in adaptive capsules. As more research is conducted, linalool is increasingly recognized for its multifaceted activity on the central nervous system, primarily decreasing nervousness, elevating mood, and promoting restful sleep. These effects seem to occur from a complex interplay across multiple physiological systems rather than activity on a single system with a robust multi-targeted approach. Linalool can modulate several key neurotransmitters, interact with the 5-HT1A or serotonin receptors, influence pathways that rely on norepinephrine to regulate a wide range of physiological and behavioral functions, and it also acts within the hypothalamus pituitary axis that controls our stress response, as well as acting on GABA targets in the nervous system. Lastly, there's some emerging science that says it possibly acts on nicotinic acetylcholine receptors and NMDA, or N-methyl D-aspartate receptors, both of which are involved in nervous system function and the amount of resilience to stress that we have. You're probably seeing why I say essential oils are multi-target, multi-mechanism solutions, because of all of this activity that can occur with just one single essential oil. Linalool's partner is linalool acetate, which also adjusts neurotransmitters such as GABA and promotes a relaxation response. So in some ways, you get a synergistic activity because it contains good levels of both of these constituents in lavender. When it comes to lavender, which is affectionately known as the Swiss Army knife of essential oils, it produces diverse effects because it contains 2 key compounds that are united with 100 other constituents inside lavender essential oil. It truly is a dynamic essential oil with remarkable benefits. Next slide. Coriander typically has higher linalool content than lavender essential oil, but it is a different enantiomer. So enantiomers are optical isomers that are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. You can think of it like the difference between your right and your left hands. While enantiomers possess identical physical properties such as boiling point, melting point, and spectroscopic features, their distinct three-dimensional structures are profoundly significant in the way they interact with biological systems. These structural differences dictate how they interact within these systems, such as binding to receptors or how they interact with an enzyme, leading to divergent biological activities. So while lavender is between 94% and 98% R minus linalool, coriander is between 83% and 90% S plus linalool. So not surprising, research shows that the S plus linalool that's found in coriander behaves differently than the R minus linalool in lavender essential oil. While linalool in lavender is associated with calming properties and produces a woodsy and lavender-like aroma, the linalool in coriander is actually more activating, meaning it has a greater effect on things like the way we regulate our blood pressure and heart rate, and is recognized for its more sweet, flowery, and petit grain-like aroma. Despite these physiological response differences, both oils actually can reduce nervousness, but do so in different ways and adjust neurotransmitters differently as well. So, by combining coriander and lavender essential oil in the same blend, we can have multiple mechanisms of action occurring simultaneously to support stress and our emotional resilience. Next slide. Wild orange is predominantly limonene, checking in at better than 90% of the whole composition of orange essential oil. Limonene is a naturally occurring monoterpene that's found in many citrus oils that has been studied for various biological effects, including its impacts on mood and stress. While more research is necessary, the emerging research indicates that limonene may exert these effects through the limbic system, neuroendocrine pathway, hypothalamic pituitary axis, and the gut brain axis. Of particular interest was a preclinical study that showed ingestion of orange essential oil favorably adjusted the gut microbiome. Similarly, limonene, and when it's been ingested in these preclinical models, increases what's called alpha diversity in the gut microbiome, which refers to how many different types of microbes live in your gut and how evenly they are distributed or spread out. Having high alpha diversity means your gut has a good variety of microbes, which is generally good for your overall well-being. It can help with digestion, aid immune system function, and have beneficial effects on your mental and emotional well-being. Think of it like a balanced sports team. I'll use soccer as an example. The more types of soccer players or microbes you have, the better your team or the gut can handle different challenges. If your soccer team had all goalies, it's not likely a winning combination, nor would the team probably score very much. The same thing happens in your gut. You need a diversity of microbes, each playing a role to experience the greatest health. Activity in all of these pathways and systems means that orange essential oil may reduce occasional nervousness, promote a healthy mood, and encourage greater stress resilience. Next slide. Fennel has a licorice-like scent that is due to its high transanethol content. Preclinical research shows that when fennel essential oil is ingested, it improves resilience to stress. This may partly be due to the neuroactivity of transanethol. Emerging research suggests that transanethol influences the electrical activity in the brain, which ultimately underpins our emotional well-being and ability to handle the stress we experience. To understand this, think of your brain cells like tiny, super sensitive light bulbs. They fire or light up when they send signals to each other. This firing is crucial for everything you think, feel, and do. Two important switches that regulate this activity are calcium channels and calcium activated potassium channels. Essentially, when calcium rushes in a brain cell or enters inside the cell, it tells that brain cell to fire. So it's like the on switch for the neuron. After the brain cells fire, the dimmer or cool down switch is potassium. When potassium flows out of the cell through these channels, it quiets things down to prepare that brain cell or neuron to fire again, but not too quickly or intensely. When your brain is overly excitable, it's like these light bulbs are flickering wildly or staying on for way too long. This can make you feel overwhelmed, nervous, or emotionally volatile. By influencing these calcium and potassium channels, transanethol helps balance brain cell activity and regulate how often and how long these brain cells fire. In essence, transanethol has a calming and regulating effect on brain cell activity by fine tuning the balance of key electrical signals. This means that you stay more emotionally controlled and have an increased capacity to cope with stress and reduce burnout. Next slide. Now that you understand the amazing potential of all of these wonderful ingredients in adaptive capsules and how there is a synergistic activity occurring between the botanical extracts and the essential oils, which are acting on multiple pathways and through multiple mechanisms, the big questions become how do you use it, right? It is really simple to use. Just take one capsule daily, preferably with a meal. Then let these ingredients work their magic to help you adapt to stressful situations better and give you greater control over your emotional responses. One thing to keep in mind is that this targeted supplement will work more effectively if you have your foundations already set. This means you should be taking VMG Plus to get important micro and macronutrients, PB Restore to support your gut microbiome, and E Omega Plus to support cell membrane fluidity, a healthy inflammatory baseline, and overall organ health. By doing so, your cells will be prepared to respond better to the ingredients in adaptive capsules. So by taking this supplement, you can reclaim calm and develop greater resilience through adaptive capsules. You can't always control what stresses you, but you can rise above it and become more resilient and balanced, living with calm and clarity in a chaotic world. Next slide. Thank you for joining us today and for partnering with us to change the world. You are vitally important to our mission to help the world heal, and I am sincerely grateful for your efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. That was great. Let me just stop the sharing, screen sharing for a moment. Thank you so much for your presentation. It was amazing. I love how you went, especially in the obviously the full ingredient and like having a deeper dive into the ingredients that are in the capsules. But I love the chemistry bit, and I think I tuned into my nerdy side when you went into the chemistry, and then also using like simpler example, like to really make the concept stick in the brain. I think
Right.
it works magic for me. So thank you for that. If you don't mind, could we just have a really quick Q&A, and maybe our leaders will find it useful too. I hope so. So I know,
Absolutely, I'd love to.
amazing, thanks. I know you said to consume adaptive capsules, which I have here, once per day, like one capsule per day, preferably with a meal.
Mm-hmm.
But because maybe, we talked about the GABA and also how it's, the effect of all of the oils that we have in the formula are helping us to feel calm or calmer, less overwhelmed when something happens in our life, like a
Mm-hmm.
situation arises in our life. Does that mean that if I take it as an example, after lunch or with my lunch meal, I will feel sleepy or, just like drifting off, dozing off in the afternoon? Or will I be
No,
fine?
that's the great thing about these ingredients is they're working with natural processes
Mhm.
that are already occurring within your body, and so they're not something that's more what we would consider an ingredient that makes you sedated or feel really sleepy,
Mhm.
tired, groggy. They're just supporting all of these natural neurotransmitters balance and your gut microbiome and all of the other activity that's required for us to respond to stress better. And so they shouldn't be causing that grogginess. You're probably going to be having stressful situations
Mhm.
throughout the day, though. So it might be even better to
Mhm.
take it in the morning
Mhm.
because then you have that support
Oh,
throughout your
wow.
entire day. I mean, that would
Okay.
just be my preference, but I don't want to get stuck on timing of when you
Yeah.
take it, because if you forget to take it in the morning, go ahead and take it with your lunch, because you're still going to have the benefits, right? And you want to keep that those ingredients in your body so that you're having that good stress resilience.
That's amazing. Thank you. And can we also, I don't know if there is a distinction, and maybe this is, I'm just being selfish and I need some clarity, but is this one of those supplements that you would take? The light just went off, by the way. Is this one of the supplements that you would take consistently, day in and day out, or is it something that you would take only when needed?
Yeah, in my experience, it's best to take it consistently, because as you take it persistently and long term, you tend to get a little bit more cumulative results.
Hmm.
And so the results you become more noticeable and then are sustained as you continue to take the product. Whereas if you were just going to say, oh, I'm going to have a really stressful day today and I'm going to take it today, it would help you for that day, but you're not going to have that sustained results if you were to take it regularly.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And I love the fact that you spoke about building resilience um, over time. I feel like you were exactly right with everything you said. We're so much always like switched on, and our brain is like, it can rarely pause, or sometimes that's a feeling, the perception at least. So I feel like this topic of building resilience and the fact that let's look at the human body as everything is interconnected, to me is extremely fascinating. And I know
Yes.
you're studying that too in your clinical practice and as a naturopathic doctor, which is great. I do have one last question for you,
Okay.
Scott, if I can.
Yeah.
I know some of our leaders are in love with the Mito2 Max supplement. So would it be okay to combine these two together in a daily routine maybe, or would you take them, I don't know, separately and focusing, I don't know, depending on everyone's needs? How would you take it?
Yeah, I think you could take them together and there
Hmm.
could be some synergistic activity with doing so. And the reason is because the Mito2 Max has all of these cellular cofactors that are helping our cells produce the energy they need to function. So we often think of ourselves like we need energy to go and perform all the tasks that we're going to do, but our cells need the same. If our cells are going to function optimally and efficiently, they also need to have energy within them to do so. And so by using Mito2 Max to give them those cellular cofactors to produce that energy, then they are going to function more efficiently and they're going to do their job much better. And they might even respond better to these ingredients that are in adaptive because they are
Wow.
fueled and they're ready and active to receive the ingredients and then act upon them.
Oh, that's amazing. I think it's brilliant to clarify that, because it might be a tiny bit counterintuitive, a supplement that is supposed to make you feel adapted or more
Mm-hmm.
adaptable to life situations wouldn't necessarily maybe come to mind when you're also taking Mito2 Max. So it's great that you clarified that for us. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well,
You
Scott,
bet.
I would like to keep you here forever, just to have like a deep chemistry session. But I'm pretty hopeful that we'll see you soon in Europe, and I cannot wait for our Diamond leaders and members to meet you face to face. But for the time being, I feel like I should let you go.
Well, thank you so much. I look forward to meeting everybody too and seeing people face to face. That's always great to be among people who are trying to do similar things and have passions for natural products.
I hope you enjoyed the webinar. As a quick reminder, you now have access to the PIPs in 7 languages along with a dedicated FAQ in English, both available on DMK in the hidden folder, and we've also shared the direct link with you via email. You'll also find the DMK link included in the video description and comments for easy access. One of the key questions we anticipate is around the difference between the EU and US adaptive formulas. We've outlined all the details in the FAQ, so make sure to check that out if you'd like a full breakdown. Next week, you'll also get access to a comprehensive PowerPoint deck focused on the wellness chart step Rest and Manage Stress. And for September only, Diamond Plus can purchase adaptive capsules through your account manager with a limit of 2 per account. A huge thank you to you, Dr. Scott Johnson, for sharing your insights, and to all of you for your leadership, engagement and feedback. We truly appreciate your partnership. See you all soon. Bye!